Copyright disclaimer: under the Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the elders of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations be unto the Akim, out here pushing this gospel and truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, fall upon your houses. This is the brother Kwana Wath come back at you, Lord will, with the edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Lord will, it is edifying, Lord will. It is straight to the point. You know, when I was watching that video earlier, you know, and again, it just showcased, right, all the different, you know, leaders, right, of these different nations that America, you know, has ultimately gone and removed out of power and set up their own ruler, if you will, right, that will benefit them, right, allow for them to be able to utilize not only the people in the land, right, but the resources that come from the land, right, to again benefit themselves, right. And this is Esau Edom's, right, MO. Right, as we read right here in Habakkuk 2 and verse 4, it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Right, Esau is the wicked. Right, Esau is, you know, the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. You know, and again, we've been seeing this being made clear more and more as the days going on, as, you know, Esau makes his moves. Right, we truly understand who the wicked is, man. And it's Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white folks, man, right? And the worst of them, some of the worst of them, right, are here in America, right? We understand that the worst of the worst, right, are those small hats, you know, the tiny tops, the big noses, right? The ish people, right? The JOO-ish people, you know, but nonetheless, they're still Edomites, man. And we, you know, as you do digging and, you know, you do a little bit of research, you find out that even, you know, Donald Trump, right, himself is one of them JOO-ish people, man, right, as well as many of those who he appointed, right, in his cabinet, right, in his administration, right, to be leaders of different, you know, programs and entities within the United States, right. A lot of them are small hats, you know. And again, we're seeing their true colors. That these are the wicked, man. You know, they truly are evil, right? Verse 4 again is, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. And Esau is the most proud fucking heathen, you know, upon the entire face of the world, right? Esau is the most proud people, right, as a nation upon the face of the entire earth, right? It says, neither keepeth at home. And we're seeing this damn devil, right? He just recently went into Venezuela, and ultimately took over, right, Venezuela, right? Donald Trump. And I don't know how, if if he was just doing that as a joke, but these damn devils, they're not fucking funny, man. For first and foremost, right? But he ultimately posted, there was a picture that was posted of him basically being the president of Venezuela now, like, and now he's talking about, heavily, right, talking about Greenland, right, talking about Cuba, talking about Colombia, taking over these places, right? He made the statement, right, that Europe ultimately wants him to have Greenland, so it's like this damn devil is going around and really taking over nations, and it's talking about taking over multiple nations, right? It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, who neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And this is what this damn devil does, man. Again, he goes into these different nations, and how convenient it is that Venezuela was one of the last few nations, right, that doesn't have, a Rothschild central bank within it, right? It's not being ran by or operating, right, under the, the Rothschild central bank, right? Because right after, Trump went and took over Venezuela, you had, one of the Rothschilds basically congratulate him, which just shows you, right? Because if they ultimately put a central bank in there, now they become basically debt to that central bank, they become stuck with that, and that's how they ultimately, are being controlled, if you will, right? It's through that central bank, through the Rothschild central bank, and that central bank system, which will open up the door for, that whole, country to be, made digital, and whatnot. But nonetheless, right, this is still Esau Edom's MO, right? He goes into these different nations, right, and he takes them over, right? Overthrows the current government and establishes a government in there, right, under his democracy and whatnot, right, that will ultimately benefit him, right? Which is what Trump said, right? Trump straight up said, right, that that America is going to be running Venezuela until there is a judicious, and legal, change of rulership, if you will, just showing you, man. And then on top of that, they're talking about taking 30 to 50 million barrels of crude oil, from Venezuela, right? I don't know if that's going to be a consistent thing or, every so often or just this one time, but nonetheless, that's what it's about. And it's not just that, right? It's all the resources, right? The lithium, the gold deposit that they just found, right? Talking about like $5.8 billion worth of gold deposits, It's all about the resources at the end of the day, man, which will ultimately help keep America, in that power seat. But we understand that America's going down, right? Yahweh Shem El Shai is destroying this place, and it's not going to be, fixed, if you will, right? It's not going to remain in power, right? Yahweh Shem El Shai is going to remove this damn devil out of that power seat, right? When he comes, as you read, right, in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, and the 24th verse, it says, then cometh the end of what? The end of Esau Edom's rule, the end of Esau Edom's constant fucking goddamn thievery, right? Because that's what it is, man, right? Esau plays it off as, manifest destiny and whatnot, man, but we understand it's thievery, right? He tries to justify this shit, man, going in somebody else's home and taking their shit, and doing it with violence, man. This damn devil is fucking violent. He's evil. He's not going in there and asking, doing deals and whatnot and saying, hey, you know what? I want to buy some of your, but I want to be able to do it at a cheaper price. What can we do to figure this out, yada, yada, yada. He ain't doing none of that shit, man. You know? He just went in there and basically bombarded Venezuela, you know, as well as he did with many of these different ones, man. You know, like one that was mentioned that was heavy, right, a very important one was Omar Gaddafi, right, from Libya. That one wasn't on that, you know, in that video, but that was a huge one, right, because his currency, right, his currency of that country was gold. You know, it had his face on it. Well, see, guess what? He wasn't using the dollar. You know, he wasn't using the dollar, and see that what happened? They came in there, right? Turned his own people on him. His own people killed him, and then they set up a fucking government in Libya, which today is very fucking poor, and they got a slave market. You know? They got actual slavery going on over there, man. Like physical slavery going on. You know, just showing you what Esau is. Like he is, as what does it say? It is as death, right? Death follows him, man. Everywhere this damn devil go, everywhere or on the planet Earth that he touches, his feet or hands touch the ground, best believe something's dying. You know, whether it be the earth, right, the animals, right, the humans, it don't matter. Somebody's dying. You know, because he's the curse of the earth, man. Straight up. Right? But soon, again, Yahweh Shem El Shai is going to take him out the way, man. Right? 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 24. Then come at the end of what? The end of Esau, Edom's rulership. Right? When he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High, even the Father. When he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. And who's in power? Who has authority? And who has rulership? Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man. Right? He's on top right now. But that's not going to be for long. Right? We understand we've been given all these different signs that we're to look for, right? That'll give us, right, the understanding of the times that we're currently in. And we are in the end of his rulership, man. You know, and he's not going to be ruling too much longer. Job 14:5, he gave him bounds that he cannot pass. And Esau hit that wall. Esau has hit that damn wall, and he hit that shit hard. Like a mannequin in a test drive. You know? And the only way that he can go is down. You know? We understand that he's kind of plateaued for a little bit, you know, because he's got to establish his NWO, you know. He might, you know, peak out a little bit more, but at the end of the day, man, the only other way that he can go is down. You know, and that's going to take place when Yahweh Shai comes, man. And all the different resources that this damn devil took, you know, he's going to have to give it back. Back to who? Back to the Israelites. Right? Let's grab this. In Job 20, and I'll start at verse 16. Right? It says he has swallowed down riches. Right? I mean, Esau has taken, we're talking about trillions and trillions of tons of gold and different stones and, you know, the different fabrics and the different woods and the animals. And Esau's taken all of this stuff, which true riches, true substance, right, is cattle. It is slaves. It is gold and silver, right? True money is gold and silver according to the scriptures. You know? It's not this paper bullshit, the fiat currency that you got, the petrodollar. No, it's none of that, man. It's actual gold and silver. Select, you know? And Esau's taking it all, man. Precious stones. We're talking about stones that are so damn rare, they're worth billions of dollars. Esau done took all that shit, man. As if it was his to take. Right? He stole all that. Right? When everything was made for the elect's sake. Right? For the nation of Israel, right? Starting with the elect. You know? That's who it was made for. It wasn't made for everybody else, man. It wasn't made for you fucking heathens to put your fucking dirty, nasty hands on it. But see, again, you have it. You done took it, but you gonna give it back, right? It says he has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly, right? So, like, you know, let's say you eating food, right? The food's not yours, right? You just ran over to a table. You know, you're a homeless, dirty, nasty, disgusting, sinful ass fucking person, and you see a table full of food, I might have turned my back to, probably flip some patties on the grill or some shit like that. You run over, you start eating it. Well, guess what? I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna hit you, I'm gonna sock you in your belly, and what's gonna happen? All that shit's gonna come out your mouth. It's gonna come out your mouth. It ain't gonna be yours no more. Or like a thief, right? He robbed a museum. Robbed the museum, and he's running out the museum with all the gold and all the silver and this and the third, and you got somebody waiting to clothesline him as he comes out the door, and what happens? He drops all the jewels and everything like that. Then you start picking it up, arrest him, throw him in fucking prison. That's what's gonna happen to this damn devil, man. Everything that he took, everything that he, swallowed down, man, he gonna have to give it all the fuck back. It says, he shall suck the poison of asp, the viper's tongue shall slay him, he shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore, right? And shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. And you ain't gonna be happy giving all this shit back, you damn devils. You ain't gonna be happy, but guess what? You're gonna have to. Because, man, we're gonna be sitting here, right? Lord will, we be of the elect. We're gonna be sitting on top, and you're gonna come bringing every single last thing that you took right back to us on bended knee, right? That's Isaiah the 60th chapter, right? It's Isaiah 60. Ooh, Isaiah 60. I'll just jump to verse 9. It says, Isaiah 60 and verse 9. It says, surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Holy One Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai thy power, until the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee, right? It's like it says, unto the name of Yahweh thy power, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor shall I have mercy on thee. So, hey, guess what? You're going to be bringing that gold. You're going to be bringing that silver, and you're going to be our fucking slaves, man. Revelation 13 and 9 and 10, right? He that hath an ear, let him hear, right? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. You damn devils are going to go into captivity. And when you damn nations have put the nation of Israel, or when you Edomites put the nation of Israel in captivity, what did you do? You stole all the vessels dedicated unto the Lord, right? As well as the rest of our gold and our silver, man. You stole everything. You're going to have to give all of that back, man. Every last drop, even the drops that you claim you didn't steal, it wasn't yours in the first place. You're going to have to give that up too, right? It says, therefore, thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. Man, our gates going to be open continually. You're going to be constantly bringing different stones and different, spices and different fruits and different fabrics and whatnot, all the most precious of everything. You're going to bring it to us. You're going to bring it to us. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, man. And what does it say right here, verse 12? For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So you're going to have to do it, man. Otherwise, you're going to fucking die. And scriptures talk about meditating terror. And we're going to fucking meditate. Brothers are meditating the worst that we can ever do right now unto you damn devils. But see, hey, it's going to be far, far worse than what we can imagine, because we're going to have spiritual power. Right now, we don't have spiritual power. We can only, just imagine with our mind, Hey, but at that point, we're going to be able to do it. You fucking devils got a lot coming, man. You got a lot coming. You got to pay for a lot. Everything that you damn devils stole from these other nations, from the Israelites mainly, you're going to have to pay it all back. All of it. And some. And we can't wait, man. Fuck you damn devils, man. But that's all I got, man. Lord will is edifying. Lord will straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rechak Wadash, double honor to the elder apostles, to the bishops of Great Millstone. Till next time I say Shalom.